Welcome back to the YesPhonics YouTube channel, everybody. I'm your host, Cheyenne Adamson, and this is where teachers, tutors, homeschoolers, and educators everywhere come for valuable teaching information and insights. So we're back with another daily / weekly lesson. I guess I keep saying daily, but it's actually weekly, which is going to be lesson 1, part 1. We're going to be teaching our students vowels and consonants. So again, like once you're to step 4 in the sequence and you've taught those, you will go down the line. So say it's day 30, you will have in every single day you will teach sequences 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're at 5. Let's say day 30 you arrive to number 5, and I'm just throwing a random day out there. It doesn't have to be day 30. Just an example. You will be teaching number 5, step 5 in the sequence right here. Lesson worksheet 1, part 1, vowels and consonants. And say you move on to day 31, you will again teach sequence 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. And then you'll move on to step 6 in the sequence, if that makes sense. And again, you guys, I watch the comments like a hawk, so if you have any questions at all or what have you, or you just have general comments, or if you want to compliment my amazing ponytail, you can definitely leave those in the comment section below. I will give you a little heart, and maybe I'll even pin it. You could be part of the pin gang in the comment section. So, lesson worksheet 1, part 1, vowels and consonants. Give the student the worksheet as it is introduced. They are kept in a notebook for further use. And yeah, that's the other thing, you guys, is go ahead and save all of these. Save all this stuff that your students do, because it's a nice little reminder. It's a cool little accomplishment that they'll have at the end. And once they know how to read, and they're going to know how to read brilliantly after they're taught this program, and it'll be a nice keepsake for them. So, put it in one of those 3-ring binders, punch some holes in it, and just keep all these worksheets and whatnot as you go through the program. 20 to 40 spelling words are taught each week. 30 words a week are assigned to the average first graders. So 20 to 40 words. For our purposes, we're going to go with 20. Because I think for these kinds of lessons, that will just be a little bit easier. So again, when we get to sequence 5, I will introduce the first 20 spelling words. And I'll title it something like the first 20 spelling rule. So the first 20 spelling words of the AIR's 1,300 most commonly used words, or what have you. And we'll go over all the word markings and all of the numbers that, I guess those are word markings. We're going to go over all of that stuff with the first 20 words. And then we'll just move on to the next 20 and the next 20 and so on and so forth. And then after you've taught the first 5 steps in the sequence for every single day, starting at step 1, going all the way through step 5, you will then hit step 6 in the sequence, which is number 6, spelling words sections A through B, multi-letter phonogram flashcards, and color handout worksheets 27 through 41. So this is really where you're going to be encountering the multi-letter phonograms in the spelling words section. So just like you taught the multiple letter phonograms after they grasped the first 1 through 26 of the phonograms, it's the same thing, only in spelling word form. So here's some of the teaching materials that you're going to see. Some of the takeaways. You're going to see dialogue for the multi-letter phonograms. Same thing as the dialogue for the single letter phonograms. You guys will have understood how you're presenting, dictating, physically verbalizing these phonograms to your students already, but we're going to have some more dialogues that you can follow along with, or that you can use at your own discretion as we're teaching the multi-letter phonograms on page 40. Here's what page 40 looks like above me, behind me here. And then you're also going to learn how to teach spelling, page 44. Here is what page 44 looks like. And we're also going to see dialogue for 1-syllable spelling words, which is page 45. Here's what page 45 looks like right up here. So yeah, a quick recap. Here's all these pages, page 40. page 44, and page 45. And you guys go ahead at any point in this video, go ahead and you can pause it and just look at these and read these pages a little bit more if you want to. Totally fine. So, at the end of each spelling lesson, the students and the teacher recite oral sentences using each word and read the words in their spelling notebooks aloud. Review all the phonograms each session. And so, a little important note, you guys, you will, when you're teaching these the first 20 spelling words of the AIR's 1300 most commonly used words, you're going to be putting all of these in your spelling notebook, which I have as a download. You can purchase it in our Fetch app cart. It is in the description below. Super cheap, $4.99. Great deal. It has everything that you need in it, and you're going to be using this notebook in order to write these words and these sentences. I've got sections that you can write sentences in this spelling notebook. You're going to be putting all of that. You're going to be having your student put all of that in their spelling notebook. So, just a heads up. And again, if you don't want to buy the spelling notebook, you can just because you're going to need this manual in order to teach this program. Basically, I'm thinking you will. So unless you want to just buy this manual, which the manual has all of the manuscript writing paper in the back, you can just copy as many of those as you want, and boom, and make your own notebook. I think personally the spelling notebook is a lot easier to use because I've got all of the pages necessary down to a T in one little file that you can just download and print, and it'll all be there in one notebook for you. You're going to review all of the phonograms each session. So that's important. Again, when you're going through the steps of the sequence, you're going to be starting with step 1 and going all the way through to we're on step 6 right here. And each time you will review the phonograms. So it's kind of it's a muscle memory. A lot of this program is muscle memory. The more you practice, the better your students will become. So that's kind of a little key piece of information. Always review the phonograms. Each single lesson, go through the phonogram flashcards. You can start with A and go all the way through Z, and then you can go all the way through the 72 Orton phonograms, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be a long time. You can literally just go A, A, B, K, S, and, I'm miming the flashcards. I should just get myself a pack of flashcards and have them here. I'll do that for the next lesson. But that's what you'll be doing, and it doesn't have to be a long review session. It can just be 5-10 minutes. You can just blast through them, go right through them, and just see how well your student is picking up on the sounds of the phonograms. And it's a great litmus test for you to see how well your teaching is going and how much your student is soaking up, how much knowledge that the students are soaking up. Number 7, spelling words, section C, multi-letter phonogram flashcards and color handout worksheets 42 through 50, which is the phonograms N and OE. Show you some examples. Here's some examples of the NG phonogram right here, and here's an example of the OE phonogram right here. So, with this, again, you will have taught each, and I know I must just be being repetitive at this point, but I'm only going to mention this a couple more times because I think, sometimes it's nice just to reiterate things. Again, when you're teaching the sequence, you're going to be starting at the step one of the sequence and going to step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, and now you're at step 7. Every single day you'll be starting with step 1 and going through all the way through the sequence. And there's caveats to that. If your students, like say you're halfway through the program and your students very much so grasp the first 10 steps of the sequence, and you just need to keep plowing through the spelling words of the 1300 most commonly used words, you could just read some storybooks aloud, and you could simply practice the phonogram flashcards, A through Z, and all 72 phonograms, and then play some Fingo, and then you could just continue on with your spelling words. Because at a certain point, your students are going to grasp all these concepts, and you're not going to need to do each and every step every single time from sequence 1 all the way to where you're at currently in the manual. At a certain point, your student will understand a lot of this, and you can just read some storybooks aloud, practice the flashcards, practice the phonograms with the flashcards, and then just continue on where you are at in the manual. But for the first, especially 10, 20 lessons, you're going to want to start with sequence 1 and go all the way through in order to the particular step in the sequence where you are at that certain point. Does all of that make sense? I hope so. teach concurrently, the students will make oral sentences using each word from the spelling lesson and read words in their spelling notebooks. Review all of the phonograms each session. Number 8. Multi-letter phonogram flashcards and color handout worksheets 51 through 56. As you can see, a lot of these steps in the sequence as you progress through it is literally just teaching these certain amount of flashcards / phonograms. That's really what it is. So in number 7, it was you're teaching 27 through 41. And in number 7, you're teaching 42 through 50. In number 6, you're teaching 27 through 41. In number 8 here, we are teaching 51 through 56. So we're just kind of plowing through the flashcards, through the phonograms in each subsequent sequence order. In each step of the sequence, we're just introducing more and more flashcards. That's pretty much what we're doing right here. And again, once we get into it, you'll see much more in depth exactly how this process is going to work. So, some takeaways. You're going to introduce the ER phonograms and color handout in one session, which is lesson worksheet 17, 6 spellings of ER. Students enter phonograms ER through OUR. And here is what that looks like. Here is lesson worksheet 17, the 6 spellings of ER. And, students will enter the phonograms ER through OR. And also, here is the phonogram flashcards of the 6 spellings of ER through OUR. So here's the first one, and the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one, and now the 6th one right there. So that's a good idea of what you're going to see and what you're going to be introducing once we are to step 8 in the sequence. So you're going to review all of the phonograms each session. Again, you're going to do that for every single session. Review all of the phonograms each session, and you're going to periodically test the phonograms. So students will read the words in their spelling notebooks every session. And so that's pretty much how it sounds. Periodically, you're going to test the phonograms. So instead of, when you're presenting the flashcards, instead of you saying a, ah, you're just going to present the flashcard and see if they can tell you all 3 sounds. That's essentially what it is. And you can do this, again, kind of like I mentioned earlier, you can do it in a much more fun way with the phonetic bingo, aka Fingo. You can do that in a very test-like kind of way, but in a fun style, in a fun game style. So that's a couple of ways that you can test your students' knowledge of the phonograms. Number 9 of the sequence. So step 9 of the sequence. Lesson worksheet number 2, which is multi-letter phonogram reference chart. You're going to dictate the phonograms 27 through 56, SH through OUR, from the lesson plan for the students to write on their worksheet. So here's what lesson worksheet number 2 looks like right behind me here. This is what this looks like. And again, don't worry, you guys. We're not trying to teach anything right now. I'm just simply taking you through a nice guided tour through this amazing Phonics for English manual by Pauline M. Adamson. And this is kind of what some of these things will look like. Number 10, spelling words, section D. Concurrently with dictating the spelling words for the students to write in their spelling notebooks, the students make oral sentences using each word from the spelling lesson and reading the words in their spelling notebooks in different orders. Review all of the phonograms. So a little key takeaway from number 10 of the sequence is lesson worksheet 3, syllables at over. So here is lesson worksheet 3, right above me, behind me here. This is what that's going to look like. And again, if you have any questions as we're going through this, feel free to comment below. I will be happy to answer them. Well, my fellow educators, I wasn't able to introduce a delicious beverage today. Again, all my beverage sponsors aren't actually sponsored at all. They're simply beverages that I like to drink myself, and I think they're a healthy option, and so I recommend to you guys. But with that being said, that is today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you came away, like I said last time, I hope you came away with some new information. And I hope these videos are valuable. And if they are valuable, if you like this kind of content, it would help me out a lot, and I'd be truly humbled if you actually just smashed the like button and shared this video with your fellow educators, your fellow homeschoolers, people looking to teach English to their K through third graders or teaching English as a second language. I would highly recommend and be totally grateful if you shared these videos with them. And I would be doubly grateful if you subscribed to this channel. When people subscribe and like and comment and share videos, it shows and tells YouTube and their algorithm that these videos are likable and that people want to watch them. And so it promotes these videos to more and more people, which thus generates more and more traffic to the channel, thus getting more subscriptions and likes and comments and shares, etc., etc., etc. So I'd be very grateful if you did all that for me. So that's my humble ask for the video. I guess I humble ask that every time, but here I am doing it again. I hope you have a great day and that you're getting some sunshine wherever you're at. And until next time, be well and stay classy.